Globals was already a week ago from today, but that doesn't mean that the drama has stopped. And in today's video, we are going to be going over the clips of the week, and this time it is a post global championship edition. There is so much different drama in this video between Clix and his old trio, Peterbot talking about Cold, and Vino saying that he is going to be the best player in the world all of next year, along with so many other clips as well. Real quick before this video starts though, please subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as I'm pretty sure we're less than like 300 subs away from 115,000 subscribers. So if you guys want to help me reach that goal, please just sub up and turn on notifications. If you guys want to support me even more, the best way to do so is by using code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop. Follow me on my Twitch if you guys want to watch the finals of any of these future duo tournaments with me. Without further ado though, let's start this video off by talking a little bit about the backstory of what has been going on between Clix, Iamzo, and Higgs, and then we will talk about what each of them have had to say about it. To quickly summarize it, Clix ended up going live after Globals, and he VOD reviewed like over half of their games on stream. He was pretty much just breaking down what went wrong for them, talking about who messed up in what specific situation. And for me personally watching this stream, I didn't see him like heavily saying like any one specific person on their trio was the direct reason for them doing bad. He even took blame and accountability multiple times himself, pointing out the mistakes that he made as long as the mistakes that some of his teammates made as well. But Iamzo was not happy about this, and this is what he had to say about it.
Clix team blaming? Yeah, he's doing it to protect his own ego. Like anyone who VOD reviews a tournament or something on stream, it's to protect their own ego. What benefits do you get by doing it on stream? It's to show the public that you're team blaming.
Yeah, but it's also like content at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, after listening to what Iamzo had to say, I do kind of half agree with both what he is saying and then also what Paper is saying too. Iamzo is 100% right that going live to your massive audience and breaking down all of the mistakes that you guys made can be seen as team blaming. But like I said earlier, when I was watching the stream, I didn't feel like Clix was necessarily like pointing fingers or 100% saying like, oh yeah, it was fully Iamzo's fault was the reason why we did so bad. It's also why a lot of these pro players don't like playing with streamers in general, because when you are a streamer with as big of an audience as Clix and you are going live showing that entire audience the exact mistakes that you made, a lot of time Clix's audience is obviously not going to be like blaming Clix in this situation, and they're going to use this as fuel to go and hate on like Iamzo or Higgs. But then like Paper said in this clip right here too, it is all just content at the end of the day. It's not like anything Clix was going over was like private information. These replay files are literally public for anybody who wants to look at them to see. And Clix is the biggest content creator in all of Fortnite competitive. Of course, especially after a bad tournament performance, he's gonna want to let his community know what went wrong, since that was the main question that everybody was asking. And then later on, Iamzo ended up saying some more things, and he ended up leaking who sold the most to who sold the least during their global championship experience.
I think day one, performance-wise, I think Higgs was number one. And then like me and Clix were probably like even. And then day two, me personally, I'd go me, then Clix, then Higgs. And Higgs and Clix are like tied, in my personal opinion. But like, bro, like I tweeted, like we had Surge every single game. You played best day two. Yeah, I feel like.
All right, so I'm gonna hold off on like my full opinion on this clip right here because Clix ended up responding to this as well. So I want to show what he had to say about it.
Like what the illusion? Like Zoe, I'm not even trying to be that guy. If you don't think you sold globals, there's a issue, bro. There is like a side of delusion where it's like I'm confused, and this isn't me being an asshole. I didn't bring this up when I VOD reviewed our globals. I sat there and I didn't point out anybody's issues but mine. Facts are cap. Facts are cap. Facts are cap. And I'm saying this at the bottom of my heart. I made sure to tell all the games that I sold. I made sure that people know why we sold. And I said, oh, this game was on me. This game was on me. The only game that I maybe probably said was bad was Zoe's crash pad, when we like sued because of whatever it's called, because of the one crash pad was really bad, and that wasn't even me. I'm pretty sure that's whatever. And I bought it. Him saying I bought it on stream to protect my ego. I actually killed my own ego by VODing on stream and admitting to hella people that multiple games was on me, multiple games I sold, multiple games, etc., etc.
Now, my personal opinion on this is I think every single one of them in the trio didn't necessarily perform up to their standards, and I think they all do know that. But this situation has to be very similar to the blame that Acorn is currently getting. When you have a fully uncontested POI, solid enough loot to be able to make it into constant endgames, and as Yamzo even said himself, pretty much having cap Surge every single game, not having to worry about Surge, the blame a lot of the time kind of just has to go to the IGLs. It does suck, but that's just how Fortnite works at the end of the day. Normally the fraggers are the ones that get the most credit because they're always the ones on the top of stat leaderboards, and then IGLs usually get basically no credit for what they do. But when you underperform while being in a situation that you were pretty much set up to succeed in, the blame does have to go to the IGL. And then we just got 2 more clips to go through about this Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs situation. I want to show a clip of Yamzo talking about how he said he probably won't talk to Higgs and Clix for a while, and that there is definitely some tension between them.
Wait, what did that guy say?
If me and Higgs are good. Cause you know our reputation, bro. If you ain't my teammate, we done. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. I don't got no bad blood. Nah, I probably won't talk to Higgs and Clix for like a minute, to be honest. There won't be much to talk about yet. I don't know. Maybe like Tokes or some shit. You gonna miss playing with them? I don't know. I feel there's definitely like some tension between all of us right now. Yeah, we all have like a feeling towards each other about how like we all played and whatnot.
I mean, I don't think there's nothing wrong with this. Yamzo even said himself that there's no hard feelings between any of them. Of course, when you guys are expected to at least top 10 in a major tournament, and even going back to last grand finals, if we want to talk about their major underperformance as well, they started off together so hot. They literally were like top 4ing their first ever cash cups together, got 3rd place and then 2nd place in their first 2 ever grands. The vibes and the mentality had to be at an all-time high, so for them to finish as low as they did, you have to remember that Fortnite is a business at the end of the day. Not everybody is like best buddies with everybody that they play with, and Yamzo has a completely new duo now. I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with them not communicating anymore. Now that is pretty much all for the Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs situation. What are my final takeaways from that whole like little debacle right there? I think it just goes back to show that that's just how Fortnite works at the end of the day. This probably happens with so many other trios behind the scenes as well. But when you are on a trio that has somebody like Clix on it with such a big fan base, obviously you're gonna have like a microscope on every single one of your mistakes. Do I think these guys like fully hate each other now? Obviously not. Clix and Higgs are quite literally playing duos with each other. I think this also does just go to show though that if we did have another year of trios, there was probably no way that this team was gonna run it back. Let me know your guys' thoughts on the whole situation though in the comment section down below, and let's move on to Mr. Savage now, saying that we just have to be patient and he has a duo.
Chat, I can't wait for the duo tournaments to reveal my duo. Okay. But yeah, we'll see who's my duo. Okay, chat. I'm hyped. Okay. Yeah. Chat.
Now everybody in the comments of this was pretty much just memeing that the last time he said this, he literally retired. And of course, I don't think Savage is gonna retire. He made like a whole tweet after Global saying that he's found his motivation to compete again. I hope that he's just able to play with somebody that is able to keep that motivation up for him. If I had to predict who I think his duo is going to be, the most realistic option as of now looks like it is probably going to be somebody like Pink. For who I want him to play with and I think he could have some crazy success with is I really want him to just pick up a crazy fighter, somebody like maybe a Focus or even like Pix. But then the massive risk of playing with a player like that is they are not going to show any loyalty towards you. Obviously, if he was able to play with iDrop, that would be like a match made in heaven because him and iDrop are already friends and iDrop looks absolutely primed up right now. But I'm also like 99% sure that iDrop is 100% going to be locked in with Vico. And so I really do believe that if he plays with Pink, it would be the best for him to not have to potentially just scramble between a bunch of different duos. For everybody that was wondering like, oh, is he going to be playing with Mongraal? Is this going to be a Savage and Mongraal reuniting? If you go into Mongraal's chat and you type !duo, it says that his duo is currently Hyper. So it looks like the Savage and Mongraal era is officially over. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. But let me know in the comment section down below who you actually think Savage is going to end up duoing with. Next up, we got Vino says that he will be better than Peterbot by the end of next year.
I'm gonna be the best fragger by the end of this year. On everything I love, on my own life.
You even better than Peter?
Yeah, 100%. At the end of this year, on my life. I'm giving it everything.
Did you get any matches on your hinge?
Then it's kind of embarrassing.
No, because bro, the last time I played Fragger, I dropped 35. Against Prime Peterbot Redline Rig, no mythics. You don't. That's the last time I played Frag.
You know what, Bino? I love the confidence. Am I ready to say that Bino is going to be the best player in the world by the end of next year? Maybe there's a scenario that we see that. He made some good points where he was talking about, I'm pretty sure in the grands that he played with Clix, on day number 1, he definitely was the best player in that entire grand finals, and that was like in the middle of Peterbot's prime dominance era. If you guys didn't know at this point, Vino is playing with Queasy for duos, so I'm interested to see how many even scenarios that he is going to be in to show that he is one of the best like fraggers. If he's talking about pure fragging wise, I'm assuming that him and Queasy are just going to be on high ground a lot of the games, and so I don't know how many like crazy high elim games that they are going to be dropping. Of course, I do think that Vino and Queasy are potential FNCS winning duo, and they might even be the best duo on all of EU in general right now. Vino to me right now is still probably hovering around that top 5 players in the entire world, and I absolutely love to see Vino in his IGLing era, but a lot of people seem to forget that when Vino was in his real prime is when he was just a full-on fragger, and I'm excited to see that we're finally going to be getting that back. Now we got our classic Peterbot talking about Cold and how he never grinds and how he would never play with them again because he basically just doesn't grind and he doesn't care. Let's roll the clips and then we can talk about it.
Am I dumb to say Cold's better than both of them?
Nah, that's not dumb. I think like if he played the game, he'd be better. I just don't think he just doesn't play the game. He's gonna play the game a lot now that he lost though, you know?
Yeah, but if you're uncon with Cold.
Yeah, well the thing is that's the problem. You don't get uncon with Cold. You know what I'm saying? People
you don't
know
think if
people
with
no.
Poyo and
That's
Cold?
that's how it was. People con whoever Cold lands because they know he'll just leave or like, you know, because he's bad off spawn. Like you know, console kids conned him and Acorn in a grands.
Fencing.
And we're like beating him off spawn. If Cold played the game and it was good off spawn,
You're gonna fizzle.
like things that he can get, yeah, bro, that kid can literally be the best player in the world if he wanted to, bro. He'll never do it though, like ever. Like you'll never be able to change that kid's mind about anything,
So if he
which is actually so sad.
Now, I feel like we have had this conversation so many times now, and I kind of love what Peter says here, and that Cold is just quite literally never going to change, and I think a lot of people also just have to accept that no matter what you think about Cold, and even if you really do believe that Cold was the best player this entire year in general, which, I mean, he has a real argument for it, it's gonna be very hard for him to ever reach that even next level of being like definitively the best player in the entire game, because he simply just doesn't play the game. Cold even said himself that if he doesn't enjoy what he is doing that much, and he is still one of the best players at it, why would he grind that? But I feel like we've just had this conversation so many times. And then something else that is pretty interesting that we talked about over the globals clips of the week that we did last week, I'm pretty sure, is Peterbot saying once again that he is confident that right now, Agers is better than Poyo, but he wants to play with Poyo because of his playstyle.
Why is your chat saying Agers over Cold? Obviously, I'm taking Agers over Cold.
Aegis is good.
Agers is better than Poyo. Agers is better than Poyo and Cold.
Why don't you do it with Aegis?
Because me and Poyo played last year, and I like he's fits my playstyle. He's like, you know, he's like the perfect teammate for me. You know, Agers is better than both of them.
Okay, now I don't know if I can necessarily agree with Peter saying that like Agers is better than Cold right now, but I've said this so many times on this channel also. To me, Poyo and Agers go back and forth on who is currently better, but I do have to admit that the edge right now definitely has to go to Agers, just based on what we have saw over the past couple of major tournaments. Agers has been the better player in pretty much every single grand finals that he played with Poyo. It does make me want to kind of think a little bit though, that if Peter and Poyo somehow dud like the first FNCS of the season, and say they place like 5th place or something like that, which I don't really think any of us could see that happening, but just in the hypothetical scenario, we've already seen Peter on multiple different occasions now saying how much he likes Agers as a player, how good he thinks Agers is. If Peter and Poyo are not seeing the same amount of success that they saw in 2024, could we potentially be in for another Peterbot dropping Poyo once again? I mean, I don't know. All I'm saying is that it definitely has to be up for debate. Or let's hear some words from our FNCS Global Championship winner of Queasy, and he said that everybody wants to have Peterbot mentalities. Malibuca plays for any money he can get, and these were pretty much the conclusions that he came to after he VOD reviewed Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs.
Everyone now just has Peter mentality for some reason. Like, first or last, like, people need to realize that they should still keep playing. That's why all these teams started doing, like, but Malibuca plays for fucking any money he can get, bro. Swear to God, like he full locked in day 2, made a comeback. Like Half of these teams need to play like that as well. They need to stop thinking they're only playing for win. After one game dudding, bro, is just fucking out there for, you know? Especially like their trio that has not won. There's no point in playing for a win only. Like, I get that's their like final goal. Clix needs to like, Clix got second, he got fourth, he got so many placements, and he hasn't won. So I get that's his goal, but that shouldn't be like his only single like goal, you know? And the other guys as well. Like top 3 is a good performance from that trio. I feel like season 2, yeah.
As Queasy was saying, getting a top 3 at LAN is in no way, shape, or form like a disappointing performance, and I think all 3 of them between Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs, and even like his whole community too, would probably definitely be a lot happier with a 3rd place than I think that 18th they ended up getting. I see the valid arguments that Queasy made here, that like, especially because Clix's team has quite literally never even won an FNCS together. Like, no singular player on Clix's trio has ever won an FNCS, so them trying to go into a global championship and just instantly play for a win might be a little bit overzealous of them, but at the same time, I'm not gonna sit up here and say Clix's team is like stupid for having the mentality that they want to win the whole thing. Next up, let's talk about Queasy saying how he believes that both Peter's trio and Ferdoxy's trio would have been able to win globals if they were uncontested.
I think Pete wins globals on Con Demons, yeah. I think Fred would win if he was on Con. I think Pete would win if he was on Con. That's it. Pete's trio and Fred's trio like were better than most of the other ones. That lobby was fucking shit. Me?
Yeah.
No. I think you guys are better than us. Like, you have better fucking. I mean, if we play day 2 better, we definitely win still, even if you guys are on Con. But maybe if you guys were on Con and we played day 1 how we played, we would have had different mentality because we wouldn't have that big of a lead, you know?
Exactly. That's the thing.
You never know.
This is kind of what I was saying after I did my globals recap video. I really do believe that Ferdoxy was the best trio out of the entire global championships, just based on the performances that they showed us. Obviously, like in general, Peter's team was still probably better than them, but I don't think they played up to their full potential a single game in that globals. But for Ferdoxy's team, every single game that they were able to make it off spawn, they showed that they could be the best fighting team in that entire lobby, while also being super consistent as well. I 100% have to agree that if Ferdoxy was fully uncontested at his drop spot, they would have had a super high chance of winning. And then also, as Queasy said, if Peterbot had an Uncon Demons debris instead of Poyo, then I know all of this is just like hypothetical hindsight scenarios, but I feel like a lot of us would also agree that Peter would probably do better with that loot than what Poyo, Acorn, and Agers did with it. This also kind of just further proves my point. Yamzo ended up telling Peter that if they had Supernova Uncon, that their trio would have been able to win LAN.
Yamzo told me at the LAN if like my team had Uncon Supernova, we would have won by like 300 points or something. That's what he said.
Yeah, I mean, bro, they didn't have only Supernova. They had like caravans as well.
Like if we had if me, Cole, and Richie had an Uncon, we would have won by 300 points. What he said or something like that.
And finally, let's talk about how Peterbot said he is so excited to play duos again because he can 1v2 everybody.
I'm just waiting to play duo FNCS. I just want to play already.
Huh?
Like, it's so much fun, bro. Another thing with duos though, right? Like I can like. It's like a thing where like in trios you can't 1v3. In duos I can 1v2 whoever I feel
exactly.
like, you know? That's why duos is so good for me, you know?
I know, bro. I've been saying this.
I literally 1v2 everyone.
Now, if you like duos more than trios, this is always one of the main selling points for that, is solo clutches are just infinitely easier when you only have to face 2 people instead of 3. I think that's why individual skill level is so much more rewarded in a game mode like duos compared to trios, because if you are left in a scenario where you are a solo, you just have so much better of a chance to be able to perform well in that. That's why I think super good solo clutch players like Peterbot, Agers, Cold, and people that just have a lot of raw individual talent are going to look so good in duos once again. Other than that though, let me know what you guys' thoughts on everything that we went over in the comment section down below. As always, I appreciate every single person that does watch and support the channel each and every single day. Please use code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop if you guys want to support me even more. YouTube still enjoying one of these 2 videos up on the screen right now, so go check them out if you guys haven't already. Thank God for another day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.